how you can ask an oracle or a tarot deck a question. So oracle cards and tarot cards are just divination tools. It's tools that we use to give us insight, to give us awareness and a new perspective of, some of the most difficult challenges, going on with our lives, because they offer gentle guidance. I feel the oracle cards offer more of a gentle guidance than the tarot, um, because they are more angelic, I feel. But they don't give you like a straightforward answer, step by step guide of what you should do, or yes and no answers. Is not a fortune telling tool. It's just a divination tool that you link with your intuition, with your highest good, with your spiritual guides, to give you guidance of something that either you want clarification and guidance on, or something that you need to know at the present moment in order to fulfill your soul's path, and that is for your best interest and the interest of everyone that is around you. So, as I said, they offer guidance, but we must remember that we are human beings, and as human beings, we have free will. So even though our guides might try to send us a message and send us a guidance, something for us to be aware, to bring at the forefront of our thoughts, you have free will. You might not follow the guidance. You don't have to. They are just there to tell you, if you continue on this path, these are the things that you might encounter. Or if you go through this path, these are the blessings that you might encounter. But it's up to you. You have free will. It's not up to the cards to tell you, you have to do this. They can't. That's why we are human beings, and we were blessed or not with free will. So therefore, it's really important that when you ask questions to the cards, you should be mindful of the way you construct the question in order to get the guidance that you seek. Is not, the aim is not really to put the power onto the cards. It is not. The power is not within them. The power is within us. And we are the ones with the power to make the decisions, not the cards. So always, when you go for a reading or you're doing a reading for yourself, always use the cards with curiosity and an open mind. Okay? And when you read cards for yourself, or you consult someone to do a reading for you, there are some ways that you can successfully ask the questions that will give you the awareness, the guidance that you seek. So one of the things that I always recommend is to use questions that start with how, what, where, or why. Because always allow for deeper answers, and always allow to explore what you can change in a situation. And there are some examples. For example, you can ask, what do I need to know about my upcoming job interview for my highest good? How can I free myself from financial struggles for my highest good? Or where are there opportunities to help me find real love that serve my highest good? Always avoid questions that start with when, will, or should, Should I do this? Will I find my soulmate? When will I find my soulmate? Always avoid questions that start with this, because again, they take away your power to make the decisions and lay all responsibility onto the cards. And that's not what the cards are about. They are about giving you the guidance that you need. Another thing that I advise my clients to do is to be as concise as possible with your questions, especially if you are trying to make a question about a big problem, because it can become very overwhelming, and it can be like you ask a question that is too general, and then the answer that you'll get is not exactly what you were aiming to achieve. So I would say, if you have a big problem, break it down into a small issue or smaller issues, and then ask a question regarding that smaller issue. For example, how can I, instead of asking, how can I free myself from financial struggles, you can ask, where can I get additional sources of income that serve my highest good? Also, breaking it down into smaller issues will allow you to get to the root cause of the problem much quicker. If, for example, your issue is like being in debt or having this amount of debt, or just the general financial struggles, if you break it down into smaller issues and you ask questions about that are concise and direct to those issues, you can pinpoint what are the root causes of this bigger problem that you are facing. So it becomes less overwhelming for you. It brings you the clarity that you need in order to tackle all these issues, and then the cards will give you guidance on how to approach it and what you can do about it. So it feels less stressful, I find. Another thing that I advise is that you always construct your questions in a positive way. The same way we are advised to, when we create mantras for us, we do it in a positive way. It's important that you ask questions to your cards that are positive, that you're not using words that are full with negative energy. Because one thing that I always say is that words have power. They have the power of bringing your happiness, bring you happiness and hope and love, but they also have the power of jealousy and vengeance and revenge and negativity. So it's really important that we are mindful of the words that we use, even in our day-to-day life. That's really important. But when you're asking questions to the cards, this is extremely important, that the words you're using don't have any negative connotation. They are constructed in a more positive way. So, for example, instead of asking, why is it difficult for me to make friends? You see the negativity here. Why is it difficult for me to make friends? You're already putting that negativity in that question. Something is going wrong with me. There is something that, is wrong. It's something to do with me. Maybe I'm not enough. So you're already putting all those limiting beliefs into just one word, difficult. It's already enough to transform the question into something that is not positive. So instead of asking, why is it difficult for me to make friends? You can ask, how can I be more sociable? How can I put myself out there to attract friends into my life? So you know the difference here. So it's a more positive, more like, putting hope, putting love, putting confidence, rather than using words that bringing you down and kind of trigger the limiting beliefs that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. I also have some clients that come to me, as I said in the beginning, I think, that feel they don't have any particular concerns, particular challenge or worries. They would like to get a reading, but they don't know what to ask. And this is completely normal. Even for me, when I'm doing readings for myself, sometimes I don't have like anything specific to ask questions, but there is a way of getting advice and getting guidance from your cards, even that you don't have any particular question or situation that you would like to inquire about. So if you don't have anything like this, and we all have it at some point, you can ask questions such as, what guidance do my spiritual guides want me to know for my highest good? Or what energies are surrounding my life right now? Or even where am I being guided on my current path for my highest good? So they are more like spiritual, they are more like going within and really trying to connect with your intuition and your spiritual guides, with your soul essence, trying to gather more of a spiritual guidance and knowing. Just a reassurance, probably. Even that you don't have any particular questions. The cards that come to you when you ask questions like this may prompt you to ask further questions and inquire, and that's totally okay. You can draw then more cards to clarify the cards that come in. You can ask additional questions to get more clarification. So this actually prompts you to be curious and to explore a lot more about you and about your soul's path. And that's what I love about, using oracle cards, as a divination tool. You can also ask questions even if you don't have any challenges in your life or any worries, but there are things in your life that you'd like to improve. You can ask questions for that as well. You can ask things like, how can I feel better about myself, or how can I feel better on the way I look for my highest good, or what can I do to increase my energy levels that serve my highest good, or how can I spend more quality time with my family for our highest good. And you might be asking, why do you keep using for my highest good in all your questions? And this is quite interesting. As humans, we tend to inquire about life and inquire about things from a place of ego. And when we tend to discern the answers and reflect on the answers and the guidance with the mind, which is the ego, you kind of block that connection with your intuition, which is what the divination cards, oracle decks, tarot decks, they are all about. They are here to help you connect with your intuition, with your highest good, with your essence, with source. So you can channel exactly the messages that you need to hear, the guidance that you need to hear at this moment. If you do it from a place of ego, you are going to start doubt everything that comes in. All the guidance that comes into you, you will doubt it. You will question. You will not reflect on them in a way that will encourage you to take risks or follow the guidance, because you will let the fear take control, take power over what actually is what is coming through, you know, from a place of intuition. So when you ask about, in your questions about your highest good, you're already emphasizing. Remember, I talked about how words have power. By using for my highest good, for our highest good, depending, you know, if you're asking for the people around you, you already putting at the forefront of the question something that is beyond what your conscious mind can comprehend. So that will already allow you to tune into the wiser version of yourself, you know, that wiser version that is linked to your soul essence. And that version of yourself that gets insights in a much deeper way that, for instance, your mind can, because your mind will not go to these places that are so deep and spiritual. You know, things that have been hidden from your conscious, from this place of highest good, you can then have a better understanding of what the answers and insights you've been trying to be guided for, right? So that's why I always use for my highest good in the questions, and that's why I recommend my clients to do it. I find it takes away the pressure that you as human need to know all the answers, because there are answers that you just can't even, your mind can't even conceive, you know, perspectives that is beyond what your mind thinks is possible. So when you ask for my highest good, you are actually being so open to everything that is coming through. You're open to any perspectives, without judgment, without fear, without criticizing or, you know, doubting. And that's what's really important when we come for a reading. So yeah, I hope it makes sense. So to finish, I want to just say that always remember to keep an open mind and notice your reaction when you get the cards or you get a reading done for you. Is really important, because how you react to the cards or to the reading already gives you an indication of the areas of your life that you need to focus on. So it's really interesting to see, like, the first thing that pops up into your mind when you are reading something, when you're picking up the card and reading the card and going to the book and trying to, you know, understand what the guidance is, or when you get a reading from someone, the first kind of reaction you get already tells you a lot, because our bodies, you know, are full of energy and they react instantly to our emotions and to our thoughts. So just by, you know, noticing that is really key to, you know what are the areas of your life that you might need to focus on. And then another thing is, oracle and tarot cards give you guidance, which is very loving, very kind guidance, but is not necessarily what you want to hear. It's more what you need to hear at the time of the reading, is what your spirit guides want you to know in that current moment, not exactly what you want to hear. So don't feel disappointed. Don't feel that something's failed. Don't put the blame on the reader that did the reading for you, or onto yourself, like, oh, I'm cursed, you know, my life is going to be miserable forever, just because you didn't got what you were expecting. Go for a reading. When you do a reading for yourself, or you go for a reading, go with an open heart and an open mind, and without expectations. That's really important, because then, you know, becoming disappointed with the reading can affect the way you will interpret the message. Because again, you will come then with your ego rather than your intuition to understand what is the deep message there. Because only you can discern what is relevant and not relevant to your life at that moment. And another thing I would like to point out is that there is no time intended for a reading. Sometimes I do readings for myself and for others, and most of the times they are not instant things like you're doing a reading is about your life right now. It's more like from months ahead, because it's guidance of if you carry on this current path, this is what you're going to encounter. So it's been reported to come past to like 12 months ahead. So that's why sometimes you get a reading and you don't understand really what it's trying to tell you. And you get confused. You feel like, okay, this is not relevant to me. But it's what your spirit guides wanted to know at that moment. So if you need to make changes, you do the changes now. Otherwise, if you carry on that current path in 3, 6, 12 months' time, that's when the reading will make sense to you. That's when you think, oh, okay, now it makes sense. When I had that reading, it didn't. I had so many clients come to me and like, oh, when you did reading to me, there were bits like I didn't felt were speaking to me. But then I read back months later and it was exactly what happened. And that's why I say go with an open mind, go with an open heart, and just be open to the guidance, really, because often is not what you want to hear, is what you need to hear, and is not instant. Again, this is not a fortune telling tool, it's a divination tool that gives you loving guidance. That is not instant. So yeah, that's what I always say. So yeah, I would like to say September is my birthday month. By the end of the month, 28th is my birthday, and I decided to run a special offer, running through September, where I'm offering 1 question with 3 card spread oracle reading for only £10. So you ask a question, when you place the order on my website, you ask the question. You can use these prompts that I talked about in this video to ask a very good question. And then I will draw 3 cards, past, present, and future, with guidance. And within 3 working days, I will send them over email. So no Zoom call, no nothing. I know that many people are uncomfortable doing Zoom calls, so I'll do everything by email. And it's only £10 for the month of September. Normally it's 15 for 1 question, but I'm doing for 10. So yeah, I'll put the link. Another announcement, the countdown for the launch of my journaling deck, it's on. 7 days, guys, 7 days. 7 days countdown right now for the to open the pre-sale, and I have some things planned for this group, so keep your eyes open for it. And if you're not on the waiting list, just get yourself in there, because you're gonna get a great bonus if you are on the waiting list.